how Tinubu will actualize plans on economy and security. US, UK terror alert. Those arrested will be prosecuted, says IG. Atiku optimistic of truce with the G5 governors. $350 million needed for Nigeria air takeoff, says minister. Kogi government targets 591 billion naira annual IGR. Arsonist burns 65,000 PVCs in Ogun INEC office.
Absurd.
Oni Adeyeye Ogunwusi and his women. Tinubu, I will complete Ajaokuta rolling mill. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let's start with INEC. So hoodlums suspected to be arsonists yesterday set ablaze the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission, that's INEC, in Ogun and Osun. And they said the fire razed the commission's office at Iyano, mortuary area of Abeokuta, Ogun State capital, and also Oke, Iresi area of Ede in Ede South local government area of Osun State. They said the hoodlums stormed the office. They had what they called, they entered through the fences and they had what they called bread bombs. So they soaked bread inside fuel, and that was what they used to set the place ablaze. And they were able to destroy so many things, including PVCs. I'm trying to get where they wrote the numbers here. Okay, they said, I can't get the numbers now. It's not here in this particular report. But however, investigations have started. Said the police will definitely find those people and get them. And also they are asking that, I think from November 12th, they're going to be opening the register for people who have registered to vote. That's registrants, and we have about 93 million voters who are going to be put up on their website, the INEC website. So they are asking that individuals who go there, read, make sure that your names are spelled correctly if you're a registered voter. And if there's anybody who is underage, who's not supposed to be there, we should make the reports now so that they can take them down. And also people who, register twice or more than once, we should also report them so that they can take it down. So it's going to be on from, I think, November 12th to the 24th of November. We, as Nigerians, can go there and just check through the registers.
So I will take the story of the Inspector General of Police, Usman Akali, at the 57th weekly ministerial briefing that held in Abuja. And he was answering questions that were asked of him by journalists. And they were asking about the US-UK alerts, terror alerts that were, that got us all in a frenzy last week. And he said that, first of all, it wasn't that the Nigerian government waived those alerts, is that they also have their intelligence, they're working with it. They were just not happy in the way that the US did it and agitated Nigerians, and there was no need for that, because what they were calling attention to is something that we are aware of as a country and constantly working on it. He says that some of the suspects that have been arrested will be prosecuted soon. And then he also mentioned the Chibok girls. He said some of them who had been saved have insisted on going back to their captors. Wow. They've become so acclimatized to, they're in the family where they have children. They want to just come visit their family members and then go back to their captors. And I feel very sad because I feel that was there enough counseling done for these children?
These are intangibles that we don't even know how to measure or not measure. Let me take the story for the PDP. I've been following this story, and exciting news for members of the PDP and even followers of Atiku. So the PDP said they've expressed optimism about the possible reconciliation of the G5 governors. If you remember, those are the governors that were saying outrightly they were not going to support Atiku in the coming elections. But Dele Momodu was saying yesterday that he's very sure most people have heard about what the governors are doing, that they're going to do everything to keep the integrity of the group. He said that PDP is the largest political party in the whole of Africa, and they're working hard. And in the coming days and weeks, there should be a reconciliation with the G5, and hopefully then they get the support for the Atiku Okowa campaign that is absolutely necessary for the elections coming up next year. So that's good news for the PDP. I mean, it's been rocky for the past few weeks, but hopefully they can get some kind of light at the end of the tunnel.
So I want to take the story of Kogi State. Kogi has this ambition, and they said they were going to be generating 591 billion as their annual internally generated revenue. They had the Kogi State governor had this conversation when he was co-hosting entrepreneurs with the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria. And the conversation, he said, was Chinese has invited Kogi to partner with them, and that they are hoping that by exposing business opportunities to the Chinese community, they would be able to get more employment for Kogi citizens, and that currently Kogi is not maximizing the opportunities of internally generated revenue, but that with this partnership, getting 561 billion as IGR is a done deal, and that this is what he wants to do for people. I'm always worried when Nigerian leaders feel like Chinese is the answer to all our problems, and we must know they have their own agenda. Our job is to look closely to make sure it marries.
If you compare with other countries, some leaders will say that China has given us the best deal so far. That working with other countries, they are the ones that are willing to work with us, and at this time we need help at some point. But let's move on to the punch. Forex crisis, traders lose as Naira rebounds to 720 to the dollar. That won't go viral. 11 die as Kogi protesters barricade road with tanker. Woman plunges into Lagoon after argument with fiancé. Lagosian burns wife to death. Lagos Port Harcourt likely to witness weather catastrophe. Obi investment in Naira next to nothing, says Soludo. Farmers kick as CBN halts Anchor Borough's program. Arson INEC meets security chiefs today. All theft suspects reject extradition, sues federal governments. Okay.
So two human interest stories, shots quickly. The lady jumped into the lagoon yesterday at the Third Mainland Bridge. Said she had a conversation with her fiancé, and after that conversation, I think it was heated, according to the taxi driver who witnessed it. She just came down from the taxi and jumped into the lagoon. The Lagos state government has been trying to, conduct a search for her, but they were not able to find her till about 7 p.m., but they have promised that they will go back to the waters to keep searching for her body. That's a very sad story. Then another man, and now the state police public relations officer confirmed this particular story, said that there's a particular lady, Risi Kat, 48-year-old woman, allegedly had an altercation with her husband, and then he just went away, came back, used petrol, poured her body, and set her ablaze, and disappeared, ran out. So, they had to take her to the hospital. They were trying to treat her when she gave up the ghost. There's a manhunt for this particular man, and investigations are ongoing.
Yeah.
Story? Yeah.
Yes, I do. So at the COP27 event happening in Egypt, as we know, our Minister for Environment is there, and he disclosed the information that by 2050, many coastal cities and low-lying cities in Nigeria, especially Lagos and Port Harcourt, would experience devastating climate change. He says that this is something that will happen in the century, and it will be devastation year in, year out. For a lot of people, there'll be loss of people, there'll be loss of properties. But that this information is good. It shouldn't scare us, because Nigeria is taking the bold step to make sure that we have all the information that is needed to mitigate this oncoming disaster. And this is not just a job for the Ministry of Environment. This is something that has to be done, the collaboration with other agencies. And for me, I think it's just a wake-up call. We normally just feel that this climate change is something that we're talking about does not make sense, but it's going to be very real, very soon. And we need to start taking the steps daily now, so that it's not something that's so bad, I mean, we look at all the other countries like Japan. We see a whole city underwater. We don't want that to happen with us.
We're going to continue with the review in Punch.
Yes, so major headline. Due to the intervention by the CBN, as well as the hard work from the EFCC, we have seen a positive in the Naira dollar, 20% rebound by the Naira to the dollar. And that's because over the past few weeks, immediately after the announcement that they were going to be changing the Naira note, most people panicked, and it led to a spike in a fall in the Naira. And that also now led to the EFCC to clamp down on about 90. They arrested 90 BDCs, bureau de change, and many other ones that had nefarious activities now went back behind the scenes. So right now, as at yesterday, Naira to the dollar exchanged at 720, which is good news. But some people strengthened to 720. Some people now have lost money, because one of the BDCs was saying that he bought at 800. And right now, people have lost millions of Naira. But it's good news for the entire population that we are seeing a bit of positives from the policies that people have been complaining about.
Because in the banks, it's still 400 and something. I think I read somewhere. I've been following the Anchor Borrowers program for a long time, and when I saw the president of the All Farmers Association was talking to the federal government yesterday, saying that they have not received money from the through the Anchor Borrower scheme since 2021, and this happened because obviously the federal government felt that many farmers were not repaying the loans given to them. If you recall, Anchor Borrowers was supposed to be a loan given by CBN to farmers to help them produce, and then they take their produce and sell to Nigerian companies and stop those companies from importing abroad. But unfortunately, many of the farmers are not repaying. So they have said that they have identified challenges such as high harvest losses, fragmented, unstructured market, the flooding, insecurity. These are some of the things that cause their produce for their produce to reduce massively, so they're unable to sell to get enough money to pay back. So they're appealing to federal government to please resume the Anchor Borrowers program so that they can increase their productivity. Moving on quickly now to Daily Sun, Buhari talks tough over vote buying. Police beef up security in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway as gunmen kidnapped 2 pastors in Plateau. Peter Obi assures Nigerians of a better nation if elected president. Get ready for your swearing in, Adams tells Tinubu. President hits Western leaders for climate mess in Africa. Petrol landing costs now 510 Naira to the dollar. You can't use Amotekun Ibubiagu for campaigns, IGP tells governors and others. Kogi targets 591 billion annual IGR. Anxiety, arsonists hit INEC office in Ogun and Osun.
I'll take the police beefing up security on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. So the police commands of Oyo and Ogun State are working together to make sure that the criminal activities that have sort of come back on that stretch of road is clamped on quickly, and that the commissioners of police in Ogun and Oyo State did what they call a strategic assessment patrol on that road, and they're also telling people that they're going to be putting in a lot of apparatus, personnel on the road, and so there's some things that may not be normal, but Nigerians should not panic. They said that there will be joint intelligence-led surveillance, aggressive patrols, combing of forests alongside local hunters and vigilante members, and other permanent visibility policing measures. And he's asking the public to provide police with timely and credible information on suspected criminals around them. So this is, the government is listening. And, you were saying something about this won't go viral. I hope that we're seeing when they respond to complaints. So this.
So the Inspector General of the Police, Mr. Alkali Usman, said activities of Ibubagu and other state-owned security outfits were being regulated and checked. So he was speaking at the Presidential Villa, the 57th session of the State House briefing organized by the Presidential Communications team. And he said the state-owned security outfits have been created to curb crime and criminality, and states have been told and advised not to use the outfits for political reasons. I said that on so many occasions they have been, they've had cases of, Ebubagu security outfits members using high-handedness, and they have been punished. A lot of them have been charged to court, and if they can do that to their own security outfit, that means they are out for any security outfit that will be using, be committing sort of crime in the midst of, being a security outfit member. And so they are also advising, because I think in Maiduguri, the supporters of the presidential candidates for the PDP was attacked, and there were also some rallies that were organized that there were a lot of attacks going on. They are saying that these rallies must be done professionally. According to the Constitution, they must, take charge and ensure that they carry along security outfits that will protect them, like the police that will be standing there to protect them. And we should not use, as the politicians should not use them, to fight against their other counterparts in the political scene.
So Buhari has hit on the Western community, saying that they are the reasons, they are the cause for most of the emissions in Africa. According to him, the effects of the climate change in Africa is as a result of their industry situated in Africa, and many of them actually back in 2009 had pledged to pay Africa $100 billion annually up until 2020 to help revitalize and to help reduce the emissions, the carbon emissions into the air. But they have failed to do that. And in his exact words, he said, many of my peers are frustrated with the Western hypocrisy and their inability to take responsibility for all this industry that is situated in Africa. So they should also support. And I think for those of us following the climate change meetings, we realize that many have said that the rich countries must pay and support the developing countries in this fight against climate.
So the hypocrisy is that the usual narrative is that Africa is doing the least concerning combating these issues, you know, when it comes to climate change. But the African counterparts are saying you are the biggest culprit here and you are supposed to pay monies, you know, to help, and you haven't done that. So
Please, petrol landing cost. This one affects us right now in a way that we are not, is affecting every other part of our economy, because the group chief executive officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum, known as NNPCL PLC, Mr. Mele Kyari, said that the landing cost for petrol into Nigeria is 510. He said, and it is impossible for a government to sustain subsidizing petrol at that rate. That in some places, they are subsidizing 290 litre per, they are paying 290 Naira per every litre people are buying. He said that for us to fulfill 170, 165, the NNPC needs to give oil marketers at 113 Naira per litre to ensure that fulfillment. And in some parts of this country, they're not even fulfilling that 170 per litre. So the conversation is, we cannot sustain this. There is nowhere around the world where anybody can get petrol for less than 445 Naira per litre. So why are we paying 170? My own challenge is, we all know this, but they are waiting until after election before they will now yank off this subsidy.
No,
Why?
if they try to do it now, would you not carry placard and say, it's
We
true
will
now?
still carry placard at any time, but they
So
want
it's
to,
still
we are waiting
risky.
sentimental for election.
If you're a governor, if you're a president, it's not risky for you to remove it now.
Yeah,
political and economical
They're political decisions. Yes, that's the reality.
That's the dilemma.
Okay, let's move on quickly to Vanguard. Tinubu's $460,000 U.S. tax APC PDP exchange words. UK terror alert, arrested suspects will be prosecuted, says IGP. We won't allow any online platform plunge Nigeria into crisis, says federal government. Oshun Ataoja's chief residents protest alleged plot to depose monarch. We've set up team to investigate Atiku's convoy attack in Borno, says IGP. Threat to 2023, INEC summons emergency security meeting today. 2023 also refrained from publishing unofficial election results, Uzodimma tells editors.
True.
And why FG picked Ethiopian Airlines as national carrier partner. Okay. Any stories?
Yes.
Somebody took the aviation minister story. Right.
No. I took the story concerning from the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodimma. He was giving this information that he was talking to media editors, 2023 political landscape, credible elections and role of editors by the Nigerian Guild of Editors 2022 conference, and he said that he was advocating and admonishing all media practitioners not to publish on official results during the elections, because it might lead to violence, it might lead to people believing that some other people is non-patriotic, and that we must manage the fact that we must manage these sacred facts for the ultimate good of our country. And I think it's a very, very important thing that people, not even the official media people might not even publish on official results. It is the social media people that have appointed themselves as collation officers that we should be warning and probably putting a law that would put punishment on them if you publish a result that is not from INEC, because we would see numbers start flying from like 8 p.m. on election day.
Yeah. That's very important.
Causing rancor.
Yes, now. Okay, let me take this call. So, the Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, made it very clear that they would not allow, the government would not allow any blogger to plunge the country into anarchy. According to them, last year they had banned Twitter because of their penchant allowance for elements who are ready to destabilize Nigeria. But they won't allow that to happen again this year. According to, he has warned that the government does not intend to ban any media from performing their duties, but would also not allow any platform to be used to plunge us into the anarchy. He says that many have called to ask what will become of our agreement with Twitter in the coming months. Many have also asked about their reaction, but we are closely going to be monitoring the evolving development as Twitter, and it has never been our intention to ban any social media. What happened last year, obviously, was not acceptable, and they'll be watching Twitter and other bloggers very closely this time around to ensure that they don't allow these elements to destroy the country. Okay, let's move on to our final paper. Let's see how much time we have. Tribune, let's find the story we've not taken. Atiku campaign falls Tinubu's camp on the $460,000 forfeiture to US. Naira strengthens, surprises speculators. Lady jumps into Lagoon. I think we took that. Editors, we took that story. Kogi targets 591 billion naira annual IGR. We took that story. I think we take all the story in Tribune.
Articles, we remember I took the story of his convoy being attacked in Maiduguri in Borno State, and the police command in the state saying that that rally happened without, you know, that they were not attacked. But the IGP is saying that the command may have been hasty in their conclusions because there are pictures that we saw that prove that there were attacks, but that there's an investigation that's going on to make sure, to find out who exactly the perpetrators of this was. And he has said that every rally, every gathering is being protected by the police, especially if you give them enough time, you know, and you tell them ahead of time, they will make sure that there's enough policing happening around that, but they will look into this holistically and then we'll find out after.
Okay, that's all.